If you notice, I've got several devices set up in each of these items, and on each one of these stands I've got pointed a different direction. So I have several items going one direction, and if this were one hallway, I'd have this facing another hallway, and then again I have another one facing yet another third hallway. Now if this were the center, I would put together one more, but I haven't looked to do that at this time. So let's start. Generally kind of have the same kind of setup with potentially slightly different assets on each of these devices. We use K2s, tri-field meters, laser grids pointed down that way. The flashlights that I'm not really 100% sold on, but I have them just in case. And then the REM pod millimeter in the middle, static detector, some audio going so that I've got things captured this direction. And I have very similar things set up here on this side. I have the flashlights, audio. I have the natural tri-field meter here, some laser grids, the millimeter. This is the latest and greatest version. A couple K2s. Usually I spread them out a little bit, but I had the natural there anyway, so I wasn't so concerned. But that's not the only thing to this what I call kitchen. Basically, you're throwing everything at a situation other than the kitchen sink. So I've got this face this way, I've got this at another area, and I've got this going to another area. What you're not looking at is the things that I'm going to put out in front. So in each one of these I'll have something similar to the geophone to sense motion, so that I can tell if somebody's walking down a hallway or something of that nature. Obviously you have to validate that with other sources to make sure it's not natural. And then on each one I have a different kind of REM pod out placed in front of the device, along with the unique static detectors that Digital Dowsing has placed or put together. Plus I'll have various motion sensors that will be set up down the hallway face this way. So I have several more to add to each one of the hallways. And then if you notice, I have almost the same setup here, except for I have a different kind of REM device here. So this is a proximity sensor, and then I have the motions going this direction. Often what happens is the frog or one of these other items will act as a trigger object down the hallway. They'll come in and be curious and try to interact with the frog or one of these items, the REM pod, and they'll end up activating equipment. And then yet one more, you see pretty much the same assets, just a different kind of REM device out front. So I've got a three-pronged attack of various assets to go all around, and then I can sit here in the center and wait to see if something happens. I can watch three angles. Obviously I'm never alone, I'll be with somebody, but collectively the two of us can watch all of these different angles and try to capture them with the camera to see if we have activity coming in from any one direction. And what I found since I've been using this, which is only on was 3 investigations now, it works very well, so that I can validate with that triple validation of various pieces of equipment going off, sensing something, we capture an electronic voice phenomenon. So we have all of this set up in different directions. This is not something typical for an investigation for other teams, because this is something that I've designed to allow this to happen so that I have various different assets, including audio. I have other higher end audio over there, but for this demonstration I put my Sony's out. But this gives us a starting point to validate something the client may be concerned with. If you have some other areas that you're going to be looking at, I throw some. I didn't put batteries in quite everything tonight, but I would throw something like this cute little teddy bear, and then turn around and throw another laser grid on it, so that you've got something cool that brings them in, and then the teddy bear as well, so that you can see something interacting with your trigger object. So that's just one. This is what I call basically throwing everything at it except for the kitchen sink. This is a technique that I believe I've developed just because I have the assets and I like to validate that equipment does work properly. So this gives me an indication of what does and doesn't work. On top of that, I'll generally throw a spirit box with speaker on each one of these devices if necessary, if I need to put these in different locations one by one, so that I can have a spirit box here ready to go with speaker if I have people in different locations. So if I have people on different floors, I can have this set up ready, and I can rotate my investigators out without changing all the equipment out unless they need batteries. But this is something that's very, very feasible, very doable, and these are very, very lightweight. These units are not extremely heavy, even though they look quite bulky. But generally, these will be stationary, but you can use them depending on what you attach to them as a walking around grid search device. But you just have to watch out what you're putting on them so that you don't get false readings. All right, so that's pretty much it.